Hello everybody. I thought it'd be quite nice if we baked a cake today because this weekend some of you might be celebrating VE Day. So I thought we could have a Union Jack cake. So here it is. This is a tray bake. So a tray bake is one big cake that you cut up into fingers and then you ice it. So shall we get on? So our hands are nice and clean. So the next job to do is ask your grown-ups to put the oven on at 175. Okay, this is what you're going to need today. You will need some scales. I've got some little digital scales. A wooden spoon, a tablespoon, a bowl, and a baking tray lined. Now last week I showed you how to line the baking tray, so you can just follow those examples. And your ingredients for this week is sugar, margarine, eggs, and self-raising flour. So the first thing you want to do, and I always do this when I cook, is I weigh my eggs. I weigh my eggs in their shells. So you put the scales to 0 and you pop your egg in. And whatever the weight of the eggs, these are 179 grams. That's what you're going to weigh of margarine, of sugar and flour. So just to make sure that you remember what that number is, write it down, 179. Okay, so take the eggs out and then you're going to weigh your margarine to 179. I've already done that before, 179. So you're going to put the margarine into the bowl, and with that you're going to add the sugar at 179. Yes, perfect. And in it goes. And we're going to use the creaming in method. So last week we used the rubbing in method. This week we're going to use the creaming in method. So you cream in your margarine into your sugar. Let's mix. So this is going to make a nice big tray bake. That's going to fill this baking tin here. Mix it all in. I love this bit. Cream it all in, get a lovely smell of the margarine and the sugar all mixing in. So in it goes. Stir it round and round and round and round. Mixing it in. If you've got an electric mixer, you can use your electric mixer, but I thought I'd show you how to do it the good old-fashioned way. In it goes, mix it round. It starts to get lighter and lighter. That's it. And you're going to take an egg and you're going to crack one egg in. And it goes. Beat that in. It all combines lovely. It is much easier in a mixer. Now add another one. So I thought this cake would be nice to make for if you're doing anything nice over the weekend, if you're doing any little parties at home with your mummies and daddies. So it'd be quite nice to have a special cake. Last egg goes in, and it goes. Mixing it. I think that's all done. You can add your flour. So I'm looking at the number again, 179, that's my weight of flour. So I've done that already. I'm going to pop that in. And now you carefully fold in the flour. So you put the spoon under the mixture and fold in the flour. This is to keep in all the lovely air bubbles, which will make your cake rise up nicely. So turn the bowl, fold in. Nice and gently. That's it. goes. See how it starts to mix together? So all the flour is mixed in. That looks lovely, doesn't it? There we go. So that's ready to go in my tray. I'm going to scoop it all into my long baking tray. Make sure I get everything in on the sides. Put that in the sink. And with the back of the spoon, you can spread it right to the corners. Put it in there. So this goes in the oven on 175 for about 15 minutes. That's all it'll need. It's not going to be a very deep cake, but it's lovely and moist. There it goes. So it looks like that. So that will go in the oven. Pop that in the oven. Okay. So in a bowl, what you need next is icing sugar. And you need a few food colorings, so blue and red, that's what you need. So I've already made up my icing, water icing. So I'm just going to show you what to do. So you can put in a bigger bowl 2 tablespoons of icing sugar. You have to be very, very careful with how much water you add. So you're just going to add a little bit to start with. Do you remember doing this in nursery? A little bit to start with, because if you get carried away, you'll end up using the whole packet of icing sugar to try and soak up all the water. So just a little at a time. Oop. Try to not make a mess. There we go. Mix them together. Probably just needs a little bit more. Nice and slowly when you do this. There we go. Lovely. You see how runny it is? That is perfect. And then I have some food colouring dyes here. This one's a blue one. And you just need to use a little bit of a cocktail stick. And you just pop the cocktail stick in and put it into the icing sugar. I'll show you. I'll get my cocktail stick. Okay, so just a little bit like that, and that goes into the icing. See that? Tiny, tiny bit. Let's turn that around. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Tiny little bit of food colouring. And colour that. There we go. If you want it darker, you put a little bit more in, okay? Right, and that's the red one. So I've done the blue one, and the red one, and the white one. So what I've done, I've cooked the cake. So because I wanted to show you how to ice it, I made a cake earlier. So when the cake comes out the oven, just let it cool in the tray, and then you can cut it into fingers, like I've done. Put the fingers on a cooling rack, and I always put a piece of paper underneath. If you haven't got a piece of paper, you could use a tea towel, and then you can start to have fun with your icing. So I'm going to start to do white icing first. So it's got to be nice and runny, just the right mixture. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to do zigzag over the cake like that. Zigzag of white over all the cake. So hopefully these will look a little bit like a flag, our Union Jack. There we are. And it goes. This is great fun. If you start to run out of icing, you can always make some more. I think I might just get there. Ooh. Wiggle, wiggle. So which colour shall we do next? I think I might do the red next. Give it a stir. Then you can drizzle the red over the top. Look at that. Starting to look a little bit like a flag. I'm pleased I put that piece of paper underneath my cakes. Oops. There we go. So if you are planning to do a little tea party, you can look back on all the recipes we've done together, like the flapjacks last week. You could bake some of those. You could do the scones. You could do a lovely afternoon tea with the scones and the flapjacks. We also made those store-cupboard cookies. They're lovely to do. And if you want something savoury, that means something that's not sweet, you could make those little cheesy pastries we made together for Easter. Turn those into little pies and make those for your table too. So you've got a whole list of things you could make for your afternoon tea party. There we go. And the final colour will be, yeah, you guessed it, blue. Oh, doesn't that look a lovely blue? And the blue. Probably won't need quite a lot of blue. Look at that. That's fit for a celebration, isn't it? Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I love seeing all your little videos when you've been cooking and you've tried out the recipes. I love seeing all those. So please send lots more in, won't you? Here we go. There we go. Put those in there. And I did come up with an idea actually. We just take those away. Take that away like that. On your table, you could do this. Let's just clear that away. On the tabletop for a minute. You could make a letter. Try and guess which letter I'm making. What letter am I going to make? Have you guessed it yet? What do you think that might be? Any idea? Okay. And the next letter? Anybody guessed yet? Oh, nearly. I think this might be. What might this letter be? Do you think that might say VE for VE Day? And I've got a little Union Jack here. Don't worry if you haven't got these lovely little Union Jacks, because you can spend the afternoon making them yourself. Bit of piece of paper. There you go. We've got a V cake for V-Day celebrations for the weekend. Bye everybody, have fun cooking. Bye.